Hello my friends, William Poloniak here from Whole Health Foundation. Today I'm going to make a large batch of juice with celery, dandelion greens, and a few other ingredients, but I want to add French sorrel to my juice, so I'm going to go to the garden and pick some. Let's go there and take a look. Alright, today I'm going to harvest this whole French sorrel plant and make a large batch of juice with French sorrel and other vegetables. Now, off to the kitchen to clean and separate the dead leaves from the good ones, and we also have some dandelion leaves here. Well, here are the rest of my ingredients, including the celery and the dandelion greens. I have one large beet, and you notice I cut it into sections so it'll fit into the feed tube. I have a handful of collard greens, the French sorrel already washed, separated out the dead leaves, and also we have about a dozen or more sweet Anaheim peppers, and I think 2 of these peppers are hot, so I hope it doesn't make the juice too hot. And also I have carrots. So let's start making some juice. In addition to my vegetables, I'm going to add about 150 grams of ginger, 100 grams of turmeric, and 1 head of garlic. Now before I start making juice, I'm going to install the near zero blowback cutter. Now this cutter has over 80 teeth cut into it, and it shreds produce about 4 degrees cooler. And also I'm using the front-loading feed tube, which eliminates blowback 100%. So let's install the cutter. And then we'll start by adding 3 or 4 ice cubes, because it's a hot and humid day here in sunny Southern California. So I want to cool down the feed tube below 20 degrees, and we're at 24 degrees now, 24 degrees Celsius. So let's cool down the cutter. I'm going to start with collard leaves. I'm going to put 3 leaves in, and it's a good idea to fold it and feed it in folded. I'll continue with collard greens. Now greens are very, very fibrous, so frequently take your grit out, put it in the palm of your hand, and scrape off the fiber. Now I noticed I started with the number 2 grid, which is usually for carrots or beets, but I'm going to switch to the J grid for juice because it does a better job on greens. Now let's continue with the greens. Here's the last of my collard greens. Is over 20, so I'm going to put in 4 more ice cubes. Next I'll put in some more ginger and more turmeric. Next I'm going to juice the beets, section by section. Next I'm going to do my celery. Oh, I see I have some dandelion left, so we'll do the rest of the dandelion. Now I'm up over 20 again, so 3 more ice cubes. And then I'm going to clean my grid, because celery is very, very fibrous. So we'll clean my grid again. In the palm of your hand, don't hold it by the tip like that. Put it in the palm of your hand. Alright, next we'll start with the French sorrel. French sorrel will sweeten up any juice. More French sorrel. And I'll continue alternating French sorrel with peppers. And we're over 20 again, some more ice cubes. Peppers. More French sorrel. Of my peppers. Here's the last of my French sorrel. I'm going to put it through a couple of carrots. Now when they're medium or large, you can put them end to end, medium or small I meant to say, and put in 2 or 3 carrots at a time. More times, and then I'm going to change grids. Now here's the last of my carrots. Now one thing I love about this front-loading feed tube is you can see in here to see if there's any unshred produce, and I can't see anything, but to make sure I'm going to put a couple of fingers full of pulp in here and force whatever's left in there out. Now next I'm going to clean all the pulp off the pusher, clean the feed tube, the grid, and then mix the produce and make some juice. Now the next step is to mix my produce, but first I want to remind you, never, I mean never, leave the cutter on the shaft. The inside of the cutter and the shaft need to be cleaned and oiled with 3-in-1 oil, not vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is too sticky and gets rancid. So clean it with mineral oil, put the cutter on top, and then mix your produce. Now what I do when I mix the carrots with the greens is rotate my bowl in both directions. That gives you a very, very good mix. Now let's make some juice. Now we start with 3 scoops inside each cloth, and I'm going to demonstrate the 6-cloth less work method. Fold the cloth over in thirds just like they came in the package. As tight a package as you can make. Set that aside because we're going to press 2 cloths at once. With 2 cloths you get better pressure and more juice. And you never throw away your spent pulp. I'll show you why. Because in the end I'm going to demonstrate how you get at least 10% more juice from your already pressed pulp that most people would throw away. Most people who have not seen my videos, that is. So 2 cloths into the press. Now very important, centered left to right, centered front to back, reach in and adjust it if need be, all the way back, back it off, and continue folding cloths full of pulp. Now when you're on your last cloth, advance that all the way, and fold it into a tight package. The tighter the better. And here comes my 6-cloth less work method. This goes forward, that goes over. The spent cloths go on top. 2 more cloths full in the press. Again, centered, left to right. Centered, front to back, all the way back. Back it off a little bit. Now this is very, very important. Do not throw away your pulp. Put 2 scoops, not 3, on top of the spent pulp. Fold it into a tight package again. Again, the tighter the better. Flatten it, set it aside. Again, you do not throw away your pulp. My 6-cloth method again. This goes forward, that goes over. The spent cloths go on top. Now I notice my collection jar is full, so I'm going to put that into bottles. Now I'm filling this from the back side so the camera gets a good view. Normally I would fill it from the front. And you'll notice I'm leaving 10% for filtered or distilled water. You could even use bottled water. And the reason for that is I like juice that's not too potent, and for a diabetic it would be a good idea to add a little water. Now we'll make more juice. First of all, make sure the tray's on the press plate properly, centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it off a little bit. Now I notice there's quite a bit of juice in my tray, so what I'm going to do before I fill these cloths is hold them down with my thumb and pour this into the collection bowl very, very carefully. Do not go too fast. The first time I did that, I got it all over my counter. Go slowly. All right, 2 more scoops on top of this spent pulp. Now, because my patty is very, very thick, I'm only putting 1 scoop of pulp on it because we want them to be able to fit in the press. So let's continue folding, and remember, toward the end of your cloth folding, 1 scoop. This goes forward, that goes over, the spent cloths go on top, and because my bowl is very, very full, we're going to fill more bottles. So I'm going to set this back. Now let me give you a little tip. Don't set it back a little bit, and that's so it doesn't drip on your counter. You will forget and you will damage your tray. Set it back a lot so it's very, very obvious. So let's fill more bottles. Okay, this goes forward, that goes over. Spent cloths go on top. 2 more cloths full in the press. Again, centered left to right, centered front to back, adjust if need be, all the way back, back it off a little bit. Now, to show you how I can get 10% more juice, I'm going to repackage this already pressed pulp, and then we'll show you that we can get about 10% more juice. So I'm going to package it into a very, very tight package. Flatten that, set it aside, advance a little more, and again, form this into a very, very tight package. Now look at my folding technique. I'm going to fold this under several times, 2, 3, 4 times, as many times as we can, and we'll do that in both directions. Folding it under so it won't slip apart. Flatten it, set it aside. The last 2 sets of cloths in the press. Again, centered left to right, centered front to back. Make any adjustments you need to, all the way back. Back it off, and we'll continue repackaging this. Now, as you can see, I have 3 double packets of repackaged juice. This is pulp that most people would have thrown away. And I'm going to show you how the Whole Health Foundation model with this solid bottom plate can make over 10% more juice. So we'll put these in the tray. It's a tight fit. Make sure it's on the plate properly. Centered. All the way back. Back it off a little. And I'm going to use a measuring beaker to show how much more juice we can get. So all the way back. Back it off a little. And that's that all the way. We have 18, almost 19 ounces of juice, and it's going to overflow, so I'm going to stop it. Pour it in the collection bowl, and let's see if we can get any more out of that. Well, there's another 2.5 ounces. It looks like we're going to get 3 more ounces out of this. Now I'm topping off all of these bottles until they're overflowing so that there's no air in the bottle whatsoever. And if you do that, your juice can last 5 to 10 days, sometimes as much as 12 days. So let's cap these off. Now, the next to last step is to take the cloths out that you pressed the water out of, put them in a plastic bag and into the freezer. And remember, what most people forget to do is to clean this upper plate. So you want to clean all the way around and the left side as well. Well, as you can see, I have 5, 10, 14 bottles, enough for a taste test. And remember, about 1.5 of these bottles was from pressing the already spent pulp that most people would throw away. And I want to remind you that your most useful nutrients are in your last 10% of your press. So let's make a taste test. Well, my friends, here we have a juice with peppers, French sorrel, collard greens, carrots, and a few other things like ginger, turmeric, and what was the other one? Ginger, turmeric, and garlic. Well, let's give it a taste. Oh, this is very, very sweet. I can taste the French sorrel. There's a little bit of bite from those 3 peppers that were hot. Most of them were Anaheim peppers. Well, my friends, I hope you like what you've seen, and if you do, please tell a friend. If you'd like to contact me, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net. and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. I'll see you in the next video.